What's up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host Marshana Spavento. We got episode 6 of season 6 of Happily Ever After 90 Day Fiance last night. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna jump right in. Hopefully, you guys were live tweeting with us last night, and if you weren't, please do. We'd love to talk to you guys about the show. And let's talk about Mike and Natalie. So Natalie is on a third wheel trip to Oklahoma with Mike and his mom Trish, and obviously it's not going well because we know how Trish feels about Natalie. And I kind of feel like Mike is taking great love in his mom tearing into Natalie. I can't prove that, but I just feel like Mike goes to his mom and he tells his mom what he doesn't like about his wife, and then he sicks his mom on her. Do you feel like that?
I absolutely feel that way. I think that Mike enjoys having someone on his side when it comes to Natalie, because when it comes to a one-on-one with Natalie, he just kind of feels like I'm repeating myself, I'm talking in circles. So when he has that reinforcement from his mom, he feels good. I think anybody who wants a fair swipe at Natalie, he'll let them take it. Now, I don't think that that's healthy in a relationship, let alone a marriage, that if you feel like you need an ally to attack your spouse, like that's just ridiculous to me. So that would say that you don't need to be married, but Trisha's not trying. Trish is trying to hold on to those 1980s bangs, but Trish is not trying to let Natalie in. I mean, Trish, your son already married her. Like, the damage is done. Like, do your best. Like, Natalie does a really good job on her own of creating really bad situations and making pleasant days uncomfortable. So, Trish, you really don't need to do much. You don't really need to do anything at all. Like, Natalie kind of messes it up on her own, and I don't understand why she's adding fuel to the fire.
I don't either. I enjoy watching Trish tear into Natalie because Natalie can't stand. Like, for instance, Trish and said that Natalie should get a job. She should be an interpreter. It's something super easy that she could do even while at home because Mike is working apparently 14 hours a day, and Natalie is just kind of sitting around the house and not doing anything to help. So Natalie is, of course, offended because she feels that she deserves to be happy and she deserves to do what she wants to
We
do.
all deserve to be happy, don't we? We all deserve to be happy. It's a different thing, though, if the situation with Mike is that maybe he couldn't afford to bring a wife over to the States. That's a different story because it sounds like there's a financial strain here, and that
Mm-hmm.
Natalie's working is not like a preference, but almost a requirement to make ends meet. So I don't want to dig into people's finances. I don't want to stay too long on the point. I don't know what's going on here, but either way, they're not happy.
Exactly. They're not happy. They're torturing each other. They're torturing us. My tweet last night said we hate them just as much as they hate each other. I don't know why we're being subjected to this. So let's talk about Angela. So Angela is 2 days after her major surgeries, JoJo is already leaving. So she already has no more support, and she let us know that JoJo was wiping her private areas for her. But again, Angela is very dramatic. There were some people on my Twitter last night who said they had spinal surgery and they were able to wipe themselves. So let's just realize that Angela's a little dramatic. But she's leaving. Michael is showing no support, and she has messed with the boob area of her body, and Michael is done with her. And on top of that, she has the audacity to bring up another surgery to him. $25,000 facelift.
Team Michael here, okay? Because Michael's all the way in Nigeria, and I think he's more concerned about the fact that she's 54 years old, morbidly obese, smokes, doesn't eat well or take care of herself, and she's having surgeries that can be life-threatening. Any surgery brings a risk, but we're talking about Angela Dean, who does not even adhere to the doctor's guidelines when they say you can't smoke. It's crazy how, to me, how Angela's narcissism really is in every area of her life, even her health. Even when she was on the operating room table and the doctors last week were putting the oxygen mask, I don't like that. It's not about what you like. People have to keep you alive in these situations. So it's beyond me. I think he's just more concerned. And I think there is a small part of him that's just like, oh, her boobs are going to be smaller. Because honestly, this sounds so mean, and I don't want to be mean, but what else could he possibly like Angela? If that was what else could he possibly like about his wife? If the boobs was the one thing that he was holding on to, like, this is all I have. I mean, she's not a nice person to him. She threatens to leave the relationship. I've lost count. And it's a form of manipulation and control. Now, I knew that Mike was not going to get away with those sentiments about her breasts being smaller, the very same sentiments that she had herself. I knew he was going to suffer for it. And we're going to cue the threats to leave the relationship in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I agree with you. And I also heard Michael say that something that really made sense to me last night. He said that we're married. These type of decisions need to be made together. And I don't agree with a lot in this relationship at all, but Michael is 100% right. When you're married to someone and you're making life-changing decisions and you're excluding someone from the decisions, not just excluding, but not even making them feel like their word even matters. No matter what you say, you're going to do it anyway. That is not a strong marriage. And I actually feel like Michael has good reason to feel the way that he does. Angela is a narcissist. She only believes that her opinion matters. She doesn't care what anyone else thinks. And that's fine. But when you marry someone, you are sharing your life with them. And in Angela's mind, her life is her responsibility. She's going to smoke cigarettes and she's going to do whatever she wants. That's not what a marriage is.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about Julia and Brandon. So after the huge Melanie fiasco last week, Julia temporarily moves out of the room that they share in Brandon's parents' house, and as a punishment for him not standing up for her, which I am completely team Julia on, because Brandon should have stood up for his wife. He should have never let anyone speak to his wife the way that she did. And for some reason, Brandon has gotten it into her mind that this is all her and her jealousy, and she was the reason why this situation took place, which is pure manipulation. There is no reason why Julia should believe that situation was normal and she's the only person who made a mistake.
You know, when you're in a marriage, in particular, not just a relationship, but a marriage, you really do have to defend your partner at all costs, even in public. And then even if you got to take them home and pull them in the back, yank them in the back room and say, oh my God, why you put me in that situation? I think it's important to show a united front. And showing an ununited front, a divided front to a woman, I don't think so. You don't let people see or feel like your relationship isn't as strong as it is, even if it is a little bit weak. Like, keep, those vulnerable parts of your relationship to yourself. So I support Julia in that. She's jealous. She's painfully jealous. But these are children. I'm sorry. You're in your 20s. If you're watching this and you're in your 20s, 40-year-old mommy over here apologizes. But you're still children. You're not even like, what do they not say, like a certain part of your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're 25? So they're fairly young. And it's ironic to me, they fought so long and so hard to sleep in the same room in Ron and Betty's house. And yes, even now that they're married, now you want to go back to the room that you were trying to escape so hard. I mean, the irony of it all, but okay.
I agree with you. They're young. I feel like jealousy keeps a marriage spicy, though. I feel like you should feel territorial, not to the point where you're controlling or manipulative, but you should feel like you want that person so badly that you're willing to fight for them. Not physically fight.
The amount of jealousy is okay.
Yes, a small amount. I feel like Julia is very jealous to the point where any living or breathing female is a threat to her. That is an Angela type situation. That is a little too far. But I do feel like I would never want to have a girlfriend or a wife and she's out and I see a man talking to her and it doesn't faze me. I want that craziness or that jealousy to rumble inside. That's what keeps things.
Yeah. And that shows you don't care, right? On some level.
Exactly. You should care. Because if you don't care, you really should be thinking, why am I with this person in the first place? If them interacting with someone, it doesn't bother me, there's no spark there anyway.
Right.
All right, so that's it for part one. We're going to come back with part two and talk about the rest of the couples in Andre's second day of work. So we're going to talk about that. Guys, I'm George Mossey. This is Marshana Spavento. I'll put our Twitters and Instagrams at the bottom. Make sure you're live tweeting with us every Sunday. Next week's episode 7, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you real soon.